Have you tried fasting and it has completely fallen apart? If you are answering yes to that question, you want to stick around for today's Monday Launch Live. My name is Ryan Sanders, and I'm the owner of Project Fresh. And for over the last 13 years, I've helped people take control of their health, optimize performance, and build sustainable habits that stick. As a certified strength and conditioning specialist and certified sports nutrition coach, I've worked with everyone from busy professionals to athletes, coaching them through the science and real world challenges of fitness and nutrition. So here I share the stories, lessons, and systems that make long term wellness possible. And I used to say strategies, but I think we live in a season and a time where strategies are kind of more one offs to address an issue. But if you don't spend the time to establish the habits, then you can easily find yourself back in old situations, right? And so oftentimes when I have people lose 10, 20, 30 pounds, they get stronger. They have all the health and fitness statistics and experiences they want to have. We shake hands and say, phenomenal job. They go on about their life. And then all of a sudden they go 6 months, 12 months, and they find themselves back to where they were or even potentially further. And that is very simply because those old habits that they had prior to having success have slowly creeped their way back in. And it's easy to do, busy with family and work and other demands of life. Maybe you're working a second job, and maybe you're doing all these different things to keep life going, if you will. Medical can be a huge disruptor, for example. It is very, very possible. So that being said, I just wanted to make that quick note. But for today, if you've been having any challenges with fasting, maybe you've been trying to fast for some time. We did this, I think, a month ago back in September. We talked about fasting and the benefits of it, the health benefits of fasting. And you're experiencing some pitfalls. There are three common ones that I've found in my own personal experience as well as working with clients. And so I'm going to go ahead and get into those. Number one, which is a really common one, is I'm fasting, but I'm not losing any fat. And you could be losing no weight at all, or you could be losing muscle mass, but you're not actually losing the body fat that you want to lose as a result of fasting. It's very common. This is something I mentioned in that, but it wasn't that. The focus of that video was very specifically when you fast, the idea is that, well, I guess I'm supposed to eat less. And it's not that you're supposed to eat less, it's that you're changing the timing of when you eat. So I had to learn this the hard way that I would fast, I'd get rid of a lot of my proteins, I would eat fruits and vegetables and drink water, and maybe I had some kind of supplemental program that I would do. And I'd pay attention closely to my numbers, my weight, and the composition. So I'm looking at muscle mass and body fat versus total weight. And I was finding that I was losing muscle tissue. So I wasn't just losing some fat, I was also losing muscle mass. And there was a time I did a 21-day reset. It was a 3-week tiered program to reset my body completely. It wasn't just to get rid of fat, but it was also to address the liver, the kidneys, cleansing and flushing out the intestinal tract, so large and small intestine, and really give my body a chance to get a reset, get a full reset. And it was set up where you prepare in the first week, you get into a deep cleanse in the middle week, and then you start to bring your body back to more stable status in the third week. Not that you're unstable, but get you more back into getting back into normal flow of things. Pun intended. And through that, I got down to 188 pounds. That was the lightest I'd ever been as an adult. Definitely as a kid, even it was lighter than when I was between the ages of, let's say, fifth grade and ninth grade. I was getting into even similar weights in that season because I was very overweight as a kid, into the 200s in sixth grade. And this was 188 as an adult in my 20s. And what I've learned since then, fast forward probably a good decade almost is that if you do not have the protein in the mix, you're going to lose muscle mass. Oftentimes, when you do something like that, you don't work out. In the context of what I'm talking about with fasting, is I am working out, which will be the third pitfall I'll talk about today. But ultimately, that is one thing that I really want to emphasize is that if you're not eating enough protein, you're not eating enough calories to match the goals you want, which in this case, we're burning fat. So we're looking for somewhere between 200 and 500 calorie deficit, which would be a deficit from what would maintain our weight. So let's say just for averages, 2,000 calories is what would maintain your weight. Then we're looking at somewhere between 1,800 and maybe as low as 1,500, which I don't like to get that low in general for the average American, but somewhere in that range to cut fat, but still maintain a high number of what would I say, grams of protein, which is going to be about at least 150 grams to 175 grams of protein for that example, and adequate carbs and fats to close out the rest, the 15, up to 1,500 calories. 150 grams of protein is only 600 calories a day. So that means we still have at least 900 to another 1,200 calories to eat throughout the day in our carbs and fats. So that might give you some representation as to this misconception of fasting. Oh, I need to restrict my eating. Well, if you do that, you're going to restrict your body's ability to burn fat in a way that you want it to. And it's going to also start to instead metabolize your muscle tissue. So that's a major pitfall, number one. Number two, this one's kind of, you might chuckle at this, and I'm not trying to be funny, but if you're already in a scenario where you're managing work or challenges with people or other at work, you're dealing with kids, you're dealing with something that's stressful, and you're already in a position where the emotions are in flux, and you're having challenges in that regard, fasting can put you in the hangry space pretty easily. So if that's already something you're having trouble with, cortisol and stress is higher than it should be. Cortisol is not a bad thing, but in excess, it can be a devastating thing. If you're having challenges with hormones in general, if you're having challenges with mental health, there's a lot of other factors here, but fasting can put you in a space where if you're having any of those challenges, it can make it worse. Because fasting does require discipline. You're putting your body in a position where it's going to be hungry and you're going to feel that hunger pain in your stomach. And so you're going to want to eat, right? But you might be in a period where you're in a fasting window and you need to go to bed and wake up the next day before you can eat. Or if you take on what I was doing, where your last meal is Friday night and your next meal is Sunday, and lunch, that's 40 hours. So that's a long period. Those Saturday nights were pretty tough. I woke up on Sunday. I felt amazing. My mental energy and clarity was on point. I felt really good in the context of my just overall mental, physical, everything was just all dialing 100% on all cylinders. This weekend, I'm probably going to do one. My missus is going to be out for work, and so I'm going to go ahead and take that advantage Friday night through Sunday to just fast and give myself a good reset and just take care of business in that regard. So that can really put you in a space that can mess with you in a lot of different ways, from physiologically to psychologically, to mentally, to emotionally. So be careful, because that could be a pitfall that could throw you off and really mess things up. Fasting can put you in a bad space and reduce the quality of your health and create poor outcomes versus ideal or good health outcomes, which is what we're coaching about here today. I'm not going to put you in a position to do something that's going to mess you up. Okay. Number three, I just mentioned this, exercising and fasting. Now, fasting isn't the only change that we make when we fast is the timing of when we eat. So let's say you start eating at 12 o'clock for lunch time, or when you would typically have lunch. That's your starting window. And then you finish at, let's say, 7 p.m. So that's a 7-hour feast window. That means that you have a leftover 17 hours that you're fasting, right? So from 7 p.m. all the way up until 12 p.m. the next day, that's 17 hours. And then from 12 to 7, that is your feast window where you're eating, right? And so, common thing that happens is, well, I want to work out, I want to build muscle, I want to be stronger, right? I want to do my cardio, whatever it is. When do I work out? Well, you can work out fasted, but you need to make sure that you had enough energy and fuel, so carbs, proteins, from the day before if you're going to work out before you break your fast, let's say at 12 o'clock. So let's say your workout's at 7 or 8 in the morning, maybe 9, depending on what your schedule looks like. You've got a number of hours until you get to break your fast. So if you didn't eat enough the day before, and now you're coming in asking your body for energy it doesn't have on the next day, and still some time thereafter before you actually get to break that fast, you're cruising for a bruising. They're really fast. That's a poor combination of decisions that's going to land you in a bad headache, a migraine, lightheadedness, possible fainting. That workout might start to feel like absolute trash after a couple of days of doing this, especially if you're hitting at least 3 days a week of strength training. That is a quick way to blow this up and this to not be effective at all. So if you're not eating, like I said, number one, of enough calories, enough protein to fit the goals of what you're trying to do, and then you're trying to work out on top of that, it could go for cardio people too, swimming, running, biking, hiking, all the different things. Cardio wise, activity wise, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Then your body's not going to like it. Like I said, you're going to go into flux with hormones, mental and emotional are going to start to be impacted, and it's just not the right way to go. So those are 3 common pitfalls that I see on a regular basis that blow up the benefits of what you can get for your health related to fasting. And so I would highly encourage you that if you are fasting or trying to fast, that you make sure that you have adequate calories and protein, that you make sure that you're not already in a season and in a state where your health is already compromised due to just the demands of life. And then number 3, when exercising and fasting, making sure that you do so appropriately. If you cannot exercise while fasted, then don't try it. Do it later in the day, do it at a time, or change your fasting window at a point where you can do it after you've had a meal, right? So that's very important to do that. And I'll just say this as a caveat, a lot of times it's a lot easier to start the first meal later in the day versus do it earlier, like if you did 7 a.m. all the way up until, let's see, if we're going 8 hours, that would be like 3 p.m. That's just not practical, right? Because a lot of people are more used to eating their biggest meal for dinner versus a majority of their food in the beginning of the day. So if you got to stop at 3 o'clock, let's see, 7 to 12, yeah, let's say you got 3 until when you go to bed to hang in there and go to sleep. So that's generally why you'll see fast taking place starting at somewhere between 10 a.m. and 12 roughly, depending on what you're trying to do. So all that being said, this is our Monday Lunch Live. I just wanted to say really quickly too, and I'll share this on my screen. We are coaches for competitive Olympic weightlifting. My wife, who's been doing Olympic weightlifting now for over a year, she's going into her second year, competed over the weekend in her second competition, and ended up hitting the podium with a bronze in her weight class. And I wanted to go ahead and share this with you guys real quick. Photo of her. We shared this in our community chat. She got bronze for the women's open 69 kg weight class. She had PRs in both her snatch and her clean and jerk, and was just really, really excited for her. Hopefully that picture there is the one that you can see. You know, if I make it bigger, it's just gonna, make my screen smaller to make the photo bigger. Okay. So she did a phenomenal job. And so if you've ever wanted to do Olympic weightlifting, competitive or not, it doesn't have to be competitive, but if you've ever wanted to do Olympic weightlifting, I know that's a big thing right now here in the United States. I see a lot of programs about it. Are those programs good or not? Are the coaches effective in what they do? I know what to look for. Are they someone that's trustworthy and that's going to take whatever money you invest and return that investment into an ROI for you and what you're trying to do? We do coach. We're certified with USA weightlifting, first level, coach first level. We'll probably get our second level next year sometime when time and budget allows. But that's something that we do, and just wanted to celebrate my wife's success over the weekend. She did a phenomenal job. She's been working hard, making some adjustments, and just keeping that diligence going. This is one of those things that, however you choose to work out, it's tough. Olympic weightlifting is definitely not an easy one by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of technical work goes into it, a lot of focus goes into it, and just diligence on a weekly basis, constantly making adjustments, shifting training, how you train. It's very much athleticism. And she's doing that on top of a full time job, an over full time job, and being a very, very loving and diligent dog mom, too. So, with that being said, just wanted to celebrate her here on our Monday Lunch Live. We hope you guys have a great one. Hope you guys are enjoying the start of your week. It is the last week of October, if you can believe it. So we've got 2 months to go before 2025. I'll just extend this to you guys. You want to drop this in the chat. What is a goal that you have to assist you with keeping the work going with your health and your fitness, wrapping up the year? What is a goal that you've set for yourself to help you finish strong in 2025? Go ahead and drop that in the chat here for our broadcast today, and we'll look to see that from you guys. All right, have a great one.